Hello everyone and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 with me, Golden Self. Now, we're on version 1.00, and we got some other info, subversion info there, but this is this game has been out for yesterday and today. It's Tuesday the 7th of June. And today, I'm going to try to do a YouTube campaign. I played about 17 hours of this game. Yesterday I played like 12 hours streaming, and then I did more today. Yesterday I was doing Japan, then I was doing Great Britain, and now I can't really decide what I should do. I'm debating whether to try Japan again, but I think I'm going to stick with Great Britain. Well, the thing is, Great Britain takes a long time to get anywhere. But Japan is really hard. I found it to be very difficult to beat China. Another option is to actually just play China itself. I mean, that's kind of interesting, and they would have an interesting path, but they don't have they don't have any unique national foci, the plural of focus. They don't have that. So I don't know about that. And of course, this very inspiring D-Day image behind us makes you want to play the US, but I'm not so sure about that either. So let me just decide real quick. Meeny, miny, miny, mo. The Soviets also are interesting. They're all interesting. France is also interesting. It's in this weird place. I want to play with historical focus off and maybe do some weird things. So what would be a good country to do that with? Of course, there's Hitler. But it's really hard to actually play a historical Hitler. I mean, you can kind of vary it up in different ways, and attacking different countries or getting different pieces of land ceded to you at different times, but it's pretty much always going to be, unless you go democratic, the national focuses don't really help you much. United States, there's no way to become communist without, or fascist without really waiting a long time, and either way you have to wait a long time. And Great Britain also. I think I'm going to go with them though, because when I was playing them earlier today, I'm going to do it on regular mode. I'm going to turn historical focuses off, just to see how that goes. And I'll talk about why more in a second. Can I change this to any other date? No, only these two, okay. Because you know how in EU4 you can pick any date between 1444 and 1821, like down to the day. What does this do? Oh, okay. Alright, so as Great Britain, we know the deal. Neville Chamberlain. We are at the height of our imperial power in some ways, in terms of territory. But, while British Raj is a sort of independent puppet, and we don't have a very strong army. Not at all. And what I did wrong, I think, earlier today was try to make a strong army. And it's just a drain on your resources when you should be building fighters and ships. Or at least mainly just fighters, actually. Mainly just planes. So as Great Britain, we start off with tons. There are a bunch of units, but they're all around the world. And most of them are these like garrison, not that one, that's the bad example. Most of them are a lot of these foreign ones, like in Aden, are these garrison forces. So if you read that, this basically means they have low reinforcement priority. So it's not necessarily in your best interest to use these on the front lines of battle. They're meant for defense, and even then they are not going to be the best for a protracted conflict. We've got a whole lot of ships all around the world, and fortunately, contrary to how it is with Japan, they're all named in a way that I can understand rather than with Japanese names. So the China fleet's in China, the Channel forces in the Channel. Some of them are a little more, I don't know enough about British history to know what the Nor fleet is, or where's the other one, the Humber force. Sorry, Humber, not Humbird. But there's that. Now, we have all those fleets, and there's quite a few ships, and they're pretty much going to be uncontested against German Reich. We might be contested by Japan, but what am I saying? We, of course, don't know what Japan is going to do. We don't know what the people are going to decide to do because I picked ahistorical focus. Japan, usually, like clockwork, goes to war with China, but there's a slight problem with the game right now where even if Japan is losing the war, if they have a national focus that lets them go to war with someone else, they'll just go to war with someone else, like Netherlands or the US. So, I mean, that's really bad for them. Like, they shouldn't do that. If they're losing a war in China, they shouldn't want to declare another war on the US where they're just going to get their asses kicked. I mean, if you can't beat China, what do you know? But on the other hand, I played Japan. I couldn't beat China. China was hard. China has a lot of troops, and it looks smaller than it is because as soon as you declare war on them, People's Republic. Well, okay. The first thing you want to do is declare war on Shanxi, and then you can keep them out of the war. But then maybe if you declared, I should try this. Maybe try justifying another war on these guys, and then maybe one down here, and then eventually get to China after surrounding them. But if you just declare on China straight up, there's a lot of troops because they integrate all this stuff. Except for this. This goes to PRC, which is already here, but does not start off at war with China, oddly enough. I don't know the historical basis for that, but it may be so. Yeah, as we can see, we have 36 units, but they're all around the world, 235 ships, 1336 planes, and 34 civilian factories, only 14 military factories. In contrast, the Germans have more military factories. And what is this again? Dockyards, right? So that's where you, these are the dockyards not for building ships, as these, but these are the dockyards like for trade. Wait a minute, let me double check that. It's under construction. Dockyards. Yeah, no, these are the industrial dockyards that you use to build ships. Sorry, I had it backwards. These are the ones you use to build ships. These are ones that help you with supply and trade. So they're both very important. These are on a province basis, and these are on a state basis, I believe. Yes. Or maybe it's, no, it's on a state basis. Pretty sure. I don't know why they categorize it as shared. I've yet to understand what that's all about. Buildings built in... Oh, I got it. Okay. So you got a specific amount of air bases you can build. I can build up to 10, right? Let's start out with. Or radar bases. I can build 1 right now to start off with. I started off with some radar researched already, which is nice. Anti-air, same deal. Okay, infrastructure, same deal. But these ones, you have a limited number of building slots in total per state. So that's why. And then these ones you can build in each individual province. Bad example because these are naval, but these ones are also you can build in each individual province, which oddly enough, I can't seem to find their names. The names of these individual provinces, they're not given. In the case of England, I suppose they'd be more like counties. In the case of the US too. So, you know, that's how that works. So, let's take a look at, first of all, building us some civilian factories. Because, well, should we? Because we start off with, now we always want to start off with civilian factories. I'm pretty sure it's a good move to do that. So let's do like 2 here, 2 here. This is one of those shared ones, so you can't build, you know, more than 10 of any of these building types in here. As of right now, we don't have synthetic refineries, nuclear reactors, or rocket sites researched. And this is good, though. I mean, this is fine because it means that we don't have to worry about, you know, building up too much because we need anti-air or something. So we can do that. And I'm talking about this mostly because I just figured it out myself. Get these built in there. Lots of civilian factories. 5 out of 6. Let's leave that. Northern England. Do you have a... Alright, you get one. Everybody gets one. It's like... Is that Oprah? An Oprah reference? I don't know. You can convert these to military factories, and there's a bunch of national foci. We're going to call them foci. They could be focuses. They probably are focuses. But if you have a locus, the plural is loci. So I'm going to go with foci. And I've heard people say that in other contexts as well. So to start off, we could do that. We could do this. We could do this. This has factories for us. So we won't have to build as many, theoretically, although we're probably going to do it anyway. And it has building slots, but it's not enough. And look, they're in British Mexico and Rhodesia. So, you know, great. I think when things are not in your core provinces, is this considered a core? That's Ghana. This is Nigeria. Where's Rhodesia? I forget what Rhodesia actually is nowadays. Here it is. I think it was Zimbabwe. Yeah, Rhodesia is colony state. You see, colony state. And I think that means that you get limited, you can get limited things from it. See, non-core state, volunteer only. So we're getting basically very little recruitable population out of this. 1 out of 888. So until we get some things that modify our recruitable populations, and even then, we're not getting much benefit out of this. Plus we have other things that hurt us, like the War to End All War's national spirit, which lowers our recruitable population, because we are sick of wars. Both the nation's people and leaders are reluctant to send another generation to die in the trenches. We do have this popular figurehead who's going to die soon. Spoilers. So that's going to hurt our national unity quite a bit. And we've got British stoicism, giving us ideology drift defense. So it would be hard for us to switch to communist or fascist, but it's tempting to do. It's very tempting to do. Communist in particular would be interesting because France starts off with a good deal of communism, and we could probably boost that there. We could also then get to Belgium before Germany, possibly, because here's the thing that bugged me last time. They start off with 11% fascist, 6% communist. The real reason I wanted to start over is because I spent a lot of time going, yeah, we're going to go do this. Okay, so if you take home defense and then you take Benelux intervention, you can do this when there's more than 10% support for a fascist or communist party in either of those countries, Belgium or the Netherlands. And I was like, great, that's already the case. Belgium has 11% fascist. But I failed to realize that this says that you need 20% support to actually go ahead and take the land, or take them as a puppet. This is just like, it pisses off the US, so I just pissed off the US for no reason, and I couldn't even go get Belgium. And once you get Belgium, it also gives you the ability to boost popularity of other ideologies. So I could then boost it in the Netherlands, right? I could say, Netherlands, go be more fascist or be more communist, and then I could then do the same thing to them. But unfortunately, this was not the case because they didn't budge from this 11%. Now, hopefully, with ahistorical AI focus, ahistorical AI, maybe the German Reich will boost fascism in Belgium or in the Netherlands. Maybe France will become communist instead of banning communism like they always do eventually. Maybe Japan will, instead of attacking China, they'll attack Mexico or something. I don't know. But, or Australia. Then I would go to war with them. And of course, the US has a chance of going to war with other people as well, depending on what national focuses they set. They can go to war with almost anybody important, according to these war plans, but it does require a lot of different things. Like if they wanted to go to war with us, we would have to not have a democratic ruling party, so we would have to have changed factions, changed ideologies. And if they were to go, and they go even further, we'd have to go, there'd have to be more world tension. We'd have to have caused 30% more world tension, which we might do, I don't know. And so on. Give me just a second, I have to respond to someone's text here. Now, where was I? So I don't know what to expect from this ahistorical thing. See, what made me excited about playing the UK was the idea of, hey, we know what Germany is going to do. We know what they're going to do. They're going to attack Belgium. First they're going to attack Poland, and we can guarantee them and all that. But now we don't know. We don't know what they're going to do. We're going to wait and see what they pick for their national focus, and them as well, before we go and make any moves like guaranteeing Poland. And so, but we still need to try to gear up for war. So let's pick a national focus that helps us with that. Limited rearmament, probably the best one to start off with because it gives us those civilian factories that everybody says you need to start the game building. This is alright, we're going to need it later, especially after our king dies, and this is great when we know that we're going to be going to war soon with somebody on the mainland. Gives us some coastal forts in southern England. But rather, I think indeed limited rearmament is the best one. The recent stirrings from Germany and other fascist powers around the world suggest we may not enjoy peace in our time. Preparation, which is of course the famous thing that Neville Chamberlain said coming back from the Munich. Not that we may not, he said that we have achieved peace in our time, coming back from the Munich agreement, the Munich conference where the Sudetenland was given away to Czechoslovakia. As we may or may not see happen in this game. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody play ahistorically yet, but I have seen a lot of advanced stuff, so let's just get back to what I was reading. In preparation, we should begin to set the pieces in motion for our own rearmament if the situation gets any worse. Very important. We can't do cryptologic bomb because it requires us to be at war with Germany, so that is something to know. and it's basically a bonus to researching. But we're gonna get construction. We're gonna focus hard on these to start off. And let's see here. We already start off with radar, which saves us a lot of time and wasting time on doing that. Research time minus 3%, perhaps. Or new fighter. And strategic bomber, most likely. We're going to need a lot of those. Or we can do tanks, but we're not going to really have the ability to build many tanks right now. I think we will probably use tanks in Africa against Italy. And we won't probably see Rommel in Africa, but we may have to go up against Rommel in Germany. Or maybe even, not in Spain, because I don't have a way of, we can't support volunteers there until after. There are certain focuses that you need to take to support volunteers as a democracy, as Great Britain anyway, and as other democracies there are other ways, but there are other focuses you have to take, so particularly the US and generic ones. So let's see where that was again. It was right here. Can send volunteer forces and removes the war to end all war, but it requires us to be after December 1930, basically after the start of 1939, and this one requires us to be after 1937. So the Spanish Civil War will tick off sometime this year, most likely, and we won't be able to send volunteers to it. On the other hand, it's ahistorical AI, so I don't know. I don't know what that will really entail. Paradox isn't even really all that. They're kind of cagey about even supporting ahistorical AI. It seems like a game that would be a lot more fun in multiplayer, I have to say, from my experience so far, just because paratroopers, marines, or mountain infantry, well, let's not do any of them right now. Let's get these support weapons so that we can start reinforcing troops more or less soon enough. And with better weapons, start upgrading some troops. And let's see. We have very low manpower. Look at that, 58.9k. It's absolutely terrible. If I try to recruit any regiments, I'll have 0 manpower. It will suck a lot of resources as well. So, and right now we're even just upgrading to better weapons. So there's that. But I would rather take my extra factories that I have right now and make fighters, even though we're going to replace them very soon. We can get a slight bonus when we switch over to the new ones if we get our efficiency up with these ones. So, you know, we can make more fighters, and we're going to make, these are strategic bombers, right? Interwar bomber. It's just a generic, let me see. What's the difference between that bomber and, oh, okay, yeah, it's a generic tactical bomber. Do we still have a research slot? No, we do not. We're using it on support weapons. That's fine. We gotta get some army stuff in there. And we're gonna get possibly some bonuses to air research speed, aren't we, somewhere? Not that one. Yeah, somewhere. Maybe not. I mean, later on, yeah, but like right, not that one. Here's one, heavy aircraft. We're gonna need the heavy aircraft for escorting our bombers to areas like France or Germany, if that's a thing. I don't know what's gonna happen. We better unpause before this episode's over so I can actually see what other countries pick. And so I have unpaused. Go to speed 4, possibly speed 5 for a lot of this stuff. No national focus set, no national focus set. Well, come on. Is it gonna take him a day or something? I also strongly considered playing Poland. They have unique ideas. Oh, they're gonna do Reichsautobahn. So this is gonna slow. See, normally I think they would start off with demilitarize the Rhineland. They've done a navy. France is trying to build a navy, right? That's pretty crazy. Spain doesn't have unique ideas. Let's take a look at Japan and the U.S. Reaffirm Monroe. Okay, that's an interesting path because this is entirely in the the Western Hemisphere. You can cause, if you go down far enough here, you can cause civil wars in Brazil and Bolivia. Seems to be random what countries these are, because last time it was Mexico and Argentina. Mexico would have made more sense for the U.S. And here's one where you get a puppet war goal against Venezuela. It was Venezuela last time as well. And I think that's just because Venezuela starts out the game fascist, which maybe has something to do with their socialist leanings of the present day. I don't know much about Venezuelan history. Soviet Union has started with the Great Purge. Well, that's typical, actually. Typical Stalin. And Japan has done Navy primacy. Yeah, that's definitely... See, normally they probably would do something besides that first. So they would probably do spiritual mobilization first, and then some of these, and then they would go over here to Chinese border incident when they were feeling ready. And maybe army primacy as well. But at least that's how I did it. Poland 4-year plan, that makes sense. Well, I don't know, maybe if I were them, I'd probably go to work on strengthening the Polish state, and then try to get, stronger army and stuff to prepare for the Germans. And the Italians, Ethiopian war logistics. I believe they start off at war in Ethiopia, that's right. And we actually have a focus for that. There's a focus that involves Italy. Where is it? Hong Kong. No, it's the Mediterranean side. Here it is. Sanction Italy. Italy is in an offensive war. We would never get down here before they finish their war with Ethiopia, because that's going to go so quick. They're fighting with guns versus spears down there. But that's what that is. Let me check my timer here. The timer is ticking. We're almost done with this episode. I'm not going to recruit any units. I'm going to build planes, as I said, and take a look at our ships. Our ships are out of date. I don't really want cruisers, so I'm going to get rid of them. I don't know if I need them or not, but I don't want them. I'm going to go instead for battleships and submarines and destroyers mainly. Mainly, and I think that may also itself be dividing it too much. This will build what, like 6-ish? What does it build, like 6? 10, 6, what am I saying? 6, 8, 10 times 3. Am I right here? Yeah. 6 plus 6 is going to build 18 ships. Why am I being really bad at this? Because you should never do math while you're doing a recording. That's why. Never in your head. If you're on your own, you can find yourself doing pretty decent math, but when you're recording, not so much. So Great Britain doesn't have many resources, but its colonies do. Some of them do, anyway. Oddly enough, Africa only has like 6 rubber right there, and like a great deal of chromium, though. But we got, of course, our puppets to trade with, like South Africa, the British Raj. Let me see here. If I were to try to trade with the British Raj, I haven't actually tried it. There goes my. If I were to try to trade with the British Raj, I could. Yeah, there's nothing to stop me from doing it, and it's a guaranteed thing. I'd have no need for it right now, but it's a guaranteed thing. If I were to build motorized, I would need rubber. Anyway, there goes my timer. I haven't unpaused, but I suppose that's... Actually, I did unpause just to see what everybody did. Navy, yeah, good luck, France. Good luck. See, they could go communist or something. I want to see that. I want to see an AI like France do something weird. Because I don't have any multiplayer games going on with this right now, and that would be fun because everybody would just go do their own thing. But that's a wrap for this episode, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. The comments in particular, I'd love to get some feedback on how I'm doing with this series. And I'm planning to do this series, some of it on Twitch, hopefully. I haven't figured out yet how or when, but maybe I should just come up with that and say it in the next episode. So that would help me a lot if I could have Twitch chat giving me feedback and backseating and stuff. As much as some people don't like that, I've not had that, and I think I would be more fun with that as well. I'm more fun in conversation than I am on my own. That is a fact. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.